Testing, testing. That seems fine. Okay. So let's take a look at the to-dos for today. What I have here in my list is chop up the dungeons to resemble linear paths, path backtracking, so it doesn't, so it tries again when it crosses itself. Thinking about secondary paths, the gameplay implications. I should do that pretty soon. And then I have fixed the whole underground. I think that's kind of a duplicate to the first one. Dungeons need to be chopped up to resemble excuse me. Dungeons need to be chopped up to resemble linear paths of patches, same as above. And fix the whole underground, split and merge the underground into patches. Okay, I'll just check off one of them. Add seeded randomness to the path generator to make it work with the save game. That's also pretty important. And I have switch path generation to a separate thread that's deferred. I don't care about that right now. Switching layers in debug mode. That's nice to have, but not that important. Divide patches by forests. Oh yeah, forests, stones, etc. On equal height gaps. Fill unused exits with props depending on terrain type. And a bridge object that generates a bridge between it and its counterpart. And put in all the connections between patches. Okay, so what I wanted to do today is continue with the preparation of the overworld and underworld for the pathing algorithm. And I have a pretty good idea how these gap filling objects will work. So I can do them afterwards. Because the main goal is to have the path generator run on the whole world. And for that, I need to split up the underground, connect all the overworld patches, and divide the overworld patches so that they're a smaller size. So these are the 3 to-dos for each quadrant. I have split the second quadrant in the overworld. So next step would be to connect all the patches and then move on to the underground. And I timed myself last time for the underground of 1 quadrant, and it was 50 minutes. So I think 1 haul of these sections, what I call quadrants, which is probably not correct. It's 1/16 of the world. One of those will probably take me 3 hours. So this will, yeah. Hey Andre, what's up? How you doing? Sorry I'm a bit late today. Had some stuff to do. So yeah, I think I'll just continue where I left off yesterday. And the game is already up. I'll just check something here real quick. I almost thought there would be no stream today. Yes, I was always gonna stream today, but I ran late. Had to do something important. It took longer than I thought. So all right. So I did the, where am I? In the first one here. I split up the overworld here. And now I'll put in all the connections. Because that will allow us to run the algorithm on it. And I'll go just in lines up and down. Okay, should I connect this? I guess so. That's a bit iffy. Let's make space for these stairs. Okay, this one's connected. Maybe one here. I'm aiming for 3 exits per patch. How was the dungeon changes yesterday? I went through the dungeons in the first quadrant, and they're sometimes a bit tricky to make linear, but as you can see, this is now a linear path from one stair to the other, so it's manageable. And I timed myself, and it took 50 minutes for this, what you see in the white rectangle. And I took some of the smaller dungeons and put them on this level and let them be just dead ends with one stair, where you go in and out the same way. So that simplified that a lot. Okay. I think I can leave this one not connected. And I should maybe connect this right here. Let's put in some more. There's a bridge right there. And I don't like the look of it, because it's so inconspicuous and easy to overlook. I have to think about that a bit more and change it eventually. I'm already going off the path I've set for myself, which is going up and down these blue rectangles, just so I know that I got everything. Okay. Back here. Well, better put it here. And I have these suggestions of roads, but I'll have to do them anew, because so much changed in the meantime. that they're not really accurate. And it could also be misleading, depending on where the path algorithm leads you. Okay. This is a bit ugly. Okay. Okay. Put one here. Or maybe here. That's more fun. It's not that obvious. Think I can connect this one here. Maybe these bridges across these small rivers should also be variable and decided on by the algorithm. But yeah, I can do that later. Okay, this is a dead end. Which is not optimal. Okay, so I think it should lead down here. Use something like this, but jumping so many stairs is kind of annoying. I'll leave it at that for now. There should also be a path out of this village. It's pretty closely packed. Would it be too long of an explanation to show how textures are displayed? Like what code actually put things on the screen? No. I'm just thinking about how I can show that best. So basically it's the mesh of this overworld, which is all quartz. So there's a giant mesh. Then there's the UV coordinates on the mesh, and I'm not quite sure how I think it's with triplanar mapping or something that I assign the textures. So this is the texture for the whole game. That's it. And it's 256 by 256 pixels, and that's the whole texture. As you can see, it's all white, so I do some coloring in the shaders, and let me hide this first and go into the source code. Now I have the so the whole world is split up into blocks. It's just what I call them. That's these blue rectangles. That's one block, and it's I'm not sure, some amount of tiles by some amount of tiles, and these blocks are tessellated when you start the game, which means a vertex buffer is created for each one of them, which means just a buffer on the graphics card that's all triangles. So a giant list of vertices with, as you can see right here, it's a position. This is the important part. P, position, color, and UV coordinate, which means how to map the texture onto the triangle. And I've got two of them, one wet and one dry, which just differentiates between the things that have these waving motion. As you can maybe see, a real subtle waving motion on these bushes. So that needs an extra buffer because it goes into a different shader path to make this wavy motion. So the motion is done on the graphics card. So this is the render function, which just okay, important to know is that I use what's called an Uber shader. If I check it out, an Uber shader is just a shader where you have if-else statements. So I have these are my names here for the different functions I want the shader to have. And this is shader perspective, which means it's 3D as opposed to 2D for UI elements. So PE is perspective for 3D. Then I have perspective textured with the waving animation, and perspective textured TR, which I have forgotten what it does, but I can find out. No alpha discard, which means it's transparent. Yeah. And you see here this if else statement. So in the rendering code, which was in tile, I set this uniform and basically tell the shader what to do. This is a perspective textured thing to render because it's a block, such a block in the overworld. Then I give it the model transform, which is a matrix that puts it where it belongs in the world at this coordinate where it is, which is 800 by 304. Then I bind it in the context, basically saying, okay, I want to work with this. And then I link up the actual data, the actual vertex data, and paint it. So this function draws it, actually. And that's how the world is drawn. But there's also the object rendering, which is render entity. And what this does is, okay, there are different types on how the entity is rendered, but it's just basically also either normal or with a waving motion. And there are 3 parts, and that's just it's pretty simple. It's just let's take this entity, so it gets rendered a black background, then the texture on top, and I think a black background on the bottom to hide the world, the terrain tile underneath. So if you look to the left at the stone, when I scroll to the right, you'll see that it's black underneath. That's just another quad that covers up what is normally, just like here, stones underneath. So it's three renderings for each entity, and those are here and are some matrix stuff. Initialize a new matrix, set the scaling, transpose it where it needs to be in the world, and get a UV mapping from this 27 corresponds to index 27 here. If I looked at the bottom left at the eye, try to find 27. One here. Oh, here, okay. 27. So this is just a white texture. And this function that I wrote, TIUVR, converts this index into UV coordinates that the graphics card can use, which is TI or UVR. I don't think it's in this file. No, it's in render. Yeah, it's here. And this is, I'm not sure if I still can get all what it does, because I wrote this quite some time ago, but this is the usual modulus with this is the atlas width, which means the elements, as you can see, this yellow rectangle is 1 unit that I defined, which is I think right now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 by 12 or something like that. No, it's 8 by 12. So it just does a modulus here to find the x and y coordinates in the atlas, in atlas coordinates. Then it multiplies it by the pixel scale factor, which is how big a pixel is in the world. I think UV pixel scale. Okay, no, it's the how big 1 pixel in the texture is in normalized UV coordinates. And normalized UV is 0 to 1. 0 to 1. So it's just 1 divided by texture width. And then I have the sprite width, which is, as you might have noticed, this is not square. Every tile is rectangular and has more height than width. So this is the sprite width. Where is it? Yes, 8 by 12. And Z and W. Okay, this is those two are minimums and these two are maximums. And it's the same, but plus 1 sprite size in UV coordinates. Basically, it's a single large texture being sliced into. Yes, it's what you call a texture atlas. So everything is here, and for small games, this is a great solution. Larger games that have large textures, that won't work, obviously, because the texture limit for most graphics cards is 4K. And yeah, but I can do it, and it makes things a lot simpler. Yeah, so I just have a function that says, okay, take this index, which is in this case 173, and give me the UV coordinates. And you can then, in the shader, this all gets passed into the shader. In the shader, where is it? The shader gets this as texture 2D sampler, and this is the UV coordinate, and the, what is this? Okay, that's just the sampler. So this is the name of the texture, and then I have the UV coordinate that gets passed in here. And that's about it. Let me check the other shader, the vertex shader. So I have 2 shaders, vertex and fragment. hello. Which is all you need to do some simple rendering. And here, this is the same type of shader path, the SPETX. And the UVs arrive here originally. And I just pass them on to the fragment shader, so I don't actually do something here. And then you pass the GL position, which is UP, UV. This is the perspective matrix, view matrix, and the actual vertex position. And then I times the x coordinate by -1 for some reason I don't remember. I think it's to flip the OpenGL coordinate system so that z points up instead of down. Is that right? Something like that. Yeah. So it's a bit more involved, and I thought that I have some crazy UV mapping in the fragment shader, but I guess that was some time ago. Yeah, and I have a light map for all the lighting, but that's another topic. Yes, so basically I can show you how the tiles get turned into triangles, and that's in the tessellate function. And it's called with a buffer to write into, a position, a layer, the tile height. Basically, it's, if you look at the world top down, it's basically the depth. Then the texture index, that's the index I talked about, that's this index. A color index, which is just, so I have a palette, and that's just an index into it, and the palette, it's nothing fancy, it's just an array. It's this here, just an array of colors. The color index is just pointing into that, and then I have a background tile texture index and a background color index. And in the tessellate function, I create some 3D points with XYZ for northwest, southwest, southeast, northeast, and create a face from it. And this walls, the walls are not quite sure what they're used for right now, but you have these 4 vertices for each tile. I call the face function, which is this one right here, where I have the vertices A, B, C, D, and tile index, color index. And I multiply the UV with something. Oh, this is just to offset Okay, this is another thing. As you can see right here with the yellow outlines, that the actual icon is situated at the top left. But in the game, they're all centered around the golden rectangle. So that's just a push. I nudge it a bit so it's centered. And then I create 6 vertices for each tile face, which consists of a vector with 4 elements. The last one, the W, always set to 1. Then I have the UV, which I just pass on with the nudging value I just discussed, and a color value, which is also a vector of 4 floating points for the color. I just showed you the palette with integer values in hexadecimal, but I have another table that gets generated at startup. That's the floating point values, the corresponding floating point values. And I just do that for 2 triangles in this quad. So I cut it in 2, and then I have 2 triangles, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. And that gets written into the vertex buffer. And this gets done at game start. And I can, of course, set a dirty flag on the vertex buffer, and then it gets regenerated. So I can edit it in the editor, the overworld, without having to reload the game. Yeah. So that's what happens, I think. It's now that I hear myself talk about it, it sounds a lot more complicated than I thought, but it's just all these small things that are custom to my game that add complexity. Yeah, but feel free to ask questions. And it's a naturally hard subject. Yeah, yes. I mean, it's certainly more complex than you think it would be. And this is just OpenGL. So I did write a renderer in Vulkan a couple of years ago, and that was 4 weeks of slamming my head into the wall. That's another level above. Are you using ECS for the entities? No. No. So entities have no components in this game. It's just structs. And if I need another component, so to speak, I'll just put it in the entity struct. And entities might use it or not, but yeah. So I'm not against these kind of systems. It's just that I learned for myself that I get too invested once I follow such a train of thought, or a way to do things, and it all gets too rigid. So what I decided is to just do what needs to be done and care about everything else when it comes up. For example, performance. I'm not planning on simulating 500,000 objects in real time, so I think I'm fine. Another question, how are you managing memory? I've only used languages with garbage collectors, but heard people talking about arenas. So similar to ECS, arenas, memory arenas are, or the arena allocators are pretty fun, but they're also they're also for a specific purpose. So they're best when arena allocators are best when they have to allocate stuff all the time. Think about Skyrim or GTA, where you constantly have to load in stuff, throw stuff away, load in new stuff, throw stuff away, load in stuff. Then they're pretty great at keeping down the, what do you call it? The fragmentation of the memory. But for a game like I do, it's just simply overkill. But one thing that is really handy is allocating all the memory you need up front. So at game start, say you reserve 500 megabytes or a gigabyte up front, and that's easily done with, for example, just a large struct. And so you have your memory budget, and if you exceed your memory budget, your game crashes. So that's pretty helpful. But other than that, I mean, you shouldn't malloc 10,000 objects every frame, because that will kill your performance. But just allocate an array of 10,000 items at one time and use that, and you're fine. So it's not that hard to make a performant game at this scale anyhow. But the arena allocators are pretty fun. But the most fun thing that I did was I watched what was it? I think it was the Game Developers Conference talk of Naughty Dog and how they use fiber coroutines to break their whole Naughty Dog engine into jobs. that are then context switched with task queues distributed on all cores of the CPU, which is just insane concept. So I took, I guess, 2 or 3 months and I implemented that, and it was a total shit show. So it worked fabulously. It's not as fast on PCs because the context switching is just takes much more time than on console. But it was just crazy to see that you can have a job queue and you throw 50,000 jobs at it and they fill up all your CPUs, and then all your CPU usage goes down at once. That's pretty fun. But there was some timing bug where the game just soft locked. That's another game I did a couple of years ago, which I never finished. And yeah, I had a bug where the game just soft locked out of nowhere, and I had no hope of finding the problem because multi-threading is insanely hard on a good day, but then when you're juggling a job system and context switching fibers, yeah, that's pretty hopeless for someone like me. Okay, where was I? This looks pretty good. Need to get up here. Can you repeat the last part? Which part exactly? Because I've been rambling a bit. I mean about the after the unfinished game. Yeah, I had this timing bug that would soft lock the game, and I never found the reason for why it happened. But it worked for about 5 minutes and then it soft locked. And that's also the reason why I wrote the Vulkan renderer, because with the fibers it's so heavily multi-threaded that you'll need a rendering solution that can work in multiple threads, and OpenGL is just not made for that. Should I go up here? I think so. One, two, three. Okay, let's tear this one down. Okay. Let's make a jump across here. feel like I'm going in circles. In another stream, could you show your previous game? Has it been purged? Well, it's somewhere, but I'm not sure if I can bring that back to life again, because it's just been so long ago that I'm not sure if I understand what I've done. But I have it. I have it still. If I have time, I'll take a look at it. But as I said, it just soft locks, if it even works. I mean, it could be that I tried to fix the problem and just made it completely non-working. So that could also be the case. Okay, this gets kind of... I really have to stick to this, to the workflow, or else I'm lost. That's right, I wanted to put these in here, so let's lift this up. That's good. That one goes down there. That's a bit crowded right here, but I think that's fine. Maybe chop this off. Make some room. That's pretty ugly, but I can fix that later. I'm still angry with myself that I deleted all the connections. But not mad enough to check my backups. Because, well, the overworld will change a whole lot, so I'll have to go over it anyways. Okay. Maybe one down here. Definitely one here. And guess here. Well, I should maybe put these into. I would ask about how you're linking the connections. I'll get some coffee and stop bothering. You're not bothering, that's fine. Ask away. This is not that stimulating a task I have to do, so talking is fine. It's welcome, actually. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a short break too. Yes, I'm in outside the area again. This is a pretty bad spot here, down here, because there's a one width path which I don't like. But yeah, well. I'm actually quite excited to implement all the features and clean up the overworld, make it look inhabited and mysterious and such. Because right now it looks pretty barren. But what I've learned from painting is that during the process there's so many times where your painting looks like shit. And it's no indication of whether it'll be good in the end. And that can be quite frustrating. And also tempting to just do what feels right, but yeah, you'll never get finished if you're just tinkering. But then again, and I find that quite hard to juggle, is that you need something to be excited about. And if everything you look at all day looks like shit, then that can be demotivating as well. So it's hard to find a balance. And not lose interest during longer stretches of, well, doing work that's not apparent immediately. Okay, where am I? Do I want to go up here? I think so. So let's make this wider, to fit some stairs. I'm not sure why I landed on 3 exits per patch, but I think it's something to do with the algorithm running into itself. But yeah. Welcome back, Andre. I was just talking about the creative process and how it's ups and downs. And yeah, sometimes you'll just have to trust the process, even though you never verified that it actually works. Yeah. I don't like this. I mean, all these strange symbols you see are for locations. And actually I'm already out of bounds again. So this is a C for quadrant C. And a 1 is for, yes, for the, okay, that's C is X, 1 is Y, and K is the index of the location in this quadrant. And I have a whole list of what these mean, but it's obsolete and, well, needs to be updated. So these actually don't mean anything tangible right now. Okay, still outside. Let's go over it one more time because I've been not that thorough. Okay, this one should have an exit here. And here too, I think. But that's kind of bad with these stairs. So let's not do that, but okay, I mean, how thorough do I have to be? How exact? Because I will go over this again. And the goal really is to test the algorithm. So I think that's fine. As long as there are enough. As long as there are enough exits for the algorithm to find a path, that's fine. Da, 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 da. Maybe down here, but that's a dead end. But the algorithm will see that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. So that's the connections. Now the underground. Okay, this is a small one that can go up a layer. And where do I put the entrance? That's bad. Also not that great. Wow. That's all pretty bad. Yeah, maybe here. Maybe here for now. Okay. Well, let's just take this one too. And I think this was the original entrance. That's occupied. So maybe here. That looks good. Okay, so there are... Oh, I did this. Okay, I overshot again last time and did this already. So let's take this one. Which is... well... yeah, I guess this is the best option. Stairs down. Oops. And this needs to be stairs up. Okay, and this needs to be connected. And... This will immediately cause the algorithm to break because it goes up here, needs to go down here, but sees that it's already been here. So it'll grab itself. So let's make this lead over here. And down here. Like this, maybe. Okay. So this one's done. Let's look at this one. So we have... This was the original entrance. It's not anymore. And then it leads to these two paths. I want one entrance here, maybe. That looks good. And the other one over here, if possible. Maybe here. Nope. This is fine. And so then I have to make it linear. So, oh, this is not that easy. Maybe if I block this off, create a path right here. That's fine. That's fine. The player goes here, up here, down here. Then I need some kind of bridge here. Goes along these rooms and into here. No? I think that works. Okay, next one. So there's no entrances here. This one looks like one, but not that great. Wow, they're all bad. I think this can work. Preferable to the others, at least. And then on the other side, we up here. That's out of bounds, but this could work. Stairs up, stairs down. Then I carve this out. Like this. I mean, this entrance looks awfully important, but it's just like all the others. But let's look at the path. Goes down here. I think there were some jumps in here. But let's just fill this up. So the player has to go down here. Over here. Into here and into here. Okay. And this one. Okay, these stairs are already here and inside the building, which right now at least is not a good idea. Just for the sake of the algorithm. I want this to be here, but yeah, it should be here. So let's just redo this and add a room, a dead end, and the other exit could be I would want this to be maybe here. Let's look at the path. Okay, it goes both ways. I want this to be linear. So I can corner this off. Make this optional. Goes down here. Okay, so then the exit should be here. Which is fine. Let's not make these elevation changes. Okay, so this emerges here. Stairs down. Stairs up. And again, I'll cut something out here. It looks kind of ugly, but that's fine. Okay. Then well, let's do this one. Entrance could be, well, here maybe. Yep. And there are stairs right here. Again, inside somewhere, which is too complicated right now. So this spot is pretty good, but that's fine. And then let's close this off. You would go up here and down here somewhere. That's pretty good. Okay. Oh. This collides. Sino, hey. Thanks, man. How's it going? Kinda gives Hand My Hero vibes. Kinda does, yeah. But it's not really intentional, but it's got the same layout of the world, at least, with their layers. So I can't pull this little dungeon up a layer because there's stuff on top. Which means the algorithm doesn't know that it's fine to go down there, even though it's a dead end. This is unfortunate. I had this problem before, but I don't remember how I solved it. Custom engine? Yes. If you can call it an engine. It's, yeah. It's got objects and it's got a renderer. And that's about it. But yeah, I did think about using SDL, the platform layer, abstraction layer, but then I looked at the code, the SDL code, and it would have been the same hassle to implement SDL than just to write the OS stuff myself. So there's the result is that there are no libraries in the game except for the GLAD OpenGL layer, so the library loader. But this is a pretty simple game, so nothing too crazy. So what do I do with this small dungeon? I mean, it cuts off 2 rooms. I'm not sure if I can sacrifice them. Are you going for something like Dwarf Fortress? No, I'm going for something like NetHack or Rogue, which, to be fair, is what Dwarf Fortress was going for initially, I think. So less of a simulation, but more of a roguelike adventure. Well, I'm really not sure. I could just make these 2 rooms be destroyed. That would solve the problem. Oh, I cut it already. Let's just reload. And that's, by the way, my undo function is restarting the game. Okay, here it was. Okay, so I can stitch that. Give me rocks. I can remove this completely and this too. And then remove the entrances. And voila. And this exit was right here. Problem solved. Okay. I have this one. I should do this one next. Oh no. Classic. Same thing again. Do I kill all these buildings? Maybe I should actually. Maybe I should. Let's just do it. Yeah, I mean, there's a dungeon underneath. That's much cooler than just a couple of buildings. And this one, well, this one has to go too. Or does it? I think so. Let's just be ruthless. Okay, and then one single entrance. This looks quite nice. Okay, I've not duplicated it in both layers, which is not what I wanted. Of course, I placed the exit on the wrong one. Okay. Next one. No collisions here, which is nice. Well, nobody goes up here. And this is also a dead end. Oops. Here is fine. Oh, yes. You can reach here. Okay. Stairs up. Stairs down. And next one. So if I place the entrance here, well, that's not, doesn't look that nice. Oh, maybe more like here. Okay, this is meant to be stepped on. So if I look at the path, goes over here and ends here. But I actually wanted to end here. Just of course on top of a rock. Then let's look over here. That's better. Let's place it here. Maybe like this. And now a straight path. Okay, I can fill this up. Create some rooms here. And that should be enough. Well, that's ugly. Something like this. Go over here, walk over here. Have an optional room right there. And cross over the water to the exit. Looks good. Okay, I did this one. So let's hoist this one up. And maybe this is a single entrance. So we can choose somewhere nice. If it allows us. This one would be nice. Where am I? Okay. I'll do that later. Okay, so this one. I can block this path right here. Which would put the entrance right there. Well, that's not pretty, but works. And then the player goes over here, handles this strangeness, whatever I meant to do here. And goes over here. Well, this just leads me much too close to the entrance. So I want the exit to be somewhere here. Well, more like here. I mean, this works. Just open this up. Player goes down here, and down here, and there. All right. Where am I? Yeah. Okay, this is a larger dungeon. With no stairs set. But this looks like an entrance. Maybe more like this. Yeah. That's fine. And then the exit. Here maybe. Good enough. Okay, and then the player would walk Well, where would they walk? They would walk here, over here. Not down here, but up there. And I don't like that. This is much better. Yeah. Up here, 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 and out. Okay, this gets tricky to follow. Why are all the original entrances? Oh, I know why. They all land on the gaps. That's because the other type of entrance moves one tile forward as you enter. But I can just extend this. Yes. That shouldn't collide with the dungeon right next to it. But with this one. But we'll see. Okay, there are quite some left. Just do this first. Entrance, entrance, entrance. Maybe here? No. Here? Maybe. Here. Well, they're all not that great. Okay, let's not put it right next to the other. Maybe down here somewhere. Why is this so complicated? Okay, let's put it here. Good enough. Okay, this one. Again in an interior. Which is not what I want. So this is an L dungeon, which is the second largest. Which makes it a bit more complicated to make it linear. And finding an entrance is just as difficult. Here maybe. they're all kind of... It's actually not bad. Of course. Okay, let's put it here. And the other one down here somewhere. Yeah, here. Okay, so you walk up here and then how can I... Okay, let's make this a ring. Go down here, go up here. Then you do not continue here, but through here, up this way, and then this gets closed off. And you continue down here along these waters. Let's open that a bit. And up here. Does that make sense? I mean, this is a dead end, but that's fine. That's fun. I think that's it. That's it for this one. Okay. Let's take this one up. Original entrance was here. I could just extend that. Yeah. All right. And that's done. I should do this one before I miss it later. Here, please. Nope. But one over is fine. And then the exit. Put the exit here. Think here. Okay. So close that off. Player goes here. Goes not down here, but down here. Wait. That doesn't make sense. Goes up here. Let's open this up. Have them go down here, which is not that obvious, maybe. But that's fine for now. And over here. All right. I think that connects. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Then this one. I need an entrance. I haven't seen this tile quite a while. There must have been an error somewhere. Okay, this is in the lake, which is nonsensical. And of course this cave spans the lake. But here is, maybe here somewhere. That's pretty good. Let's put it right here. That's the entrance, which leads down here, up here. I should have gone the other way, maybe. I can also make this more open and have the exit right here. This will... Oh, that's not what I wanted. This is better. Okay, this could work. So the pathing doesn't see a dead end and ignores it. Okay. Let's push this one up. Only need one entrance again. And that could be here, actually. Actually, I'd rather have it down here. Oops. It's more like there. Great. Just just pasted the dungeon into the overworld, which of course yeah, destroys it. But I saved, all good. So maybe here, which is there. Stairs up, stairs down. That looks pretty good. Okay. Wow, okay. Pressing all the wrong buttons. So this one. Also see an entrance, no exit. Wow, that's all bad. Well, maybe here. Okay. This one. Kind of cutting into this one. Here, please. Okay. This is a very small one. With not much wiggle room in terms of entrance. But that solves it. I did this one. Did this one. No, I did do this one. Forgot about this one. That's pretty bad. Yeah, let's just do it here. Okay. Should I do this one that leans halfway into my area? I think I should. Else I'll forget about it. Here. Yeah, let's do it here. And the exit. Oh, this works. The rare occasion where this actually works the first time. Or rather, where it lines up. Okay. Making this linear. If I cut this off, I'll walk down here. And maybe like this. Walking it along here with all these optional rooms. This long corridor, this hall, over the water and out. This looks good to me. Yes, and I placed all the exits. Okay, now this one, please work. No. This one looks pretty nice. Okay, and then maybe here. Nope. Here. Okay. If I close this off, walking down here and straight to the exit. That's not what I want. Okay, I'll block this off. Create a bridge right here. And that bridge will lead down here. This works. Okay, next one. There's an exit still here. That needs to go. Do I want this here? It's actually pretty nice. Then can we appear somewhere here? Maybe here. Or here. Not that likely. But this looks good. Okay. I need to be careful about placing these correctly. Or else they won't ever show up in the game. Because the algorithm throws them out. Okay, I think that's it for this block. Is that true? Yes, that's somewhere else. Okay, wow. That one looks weird. But that's it for the underground for the second quadrant. Or octagon, or how you'd call it. So let's throw some algorithms. Some algorithm runs. What did it say? 20? Not sure why Oh, okay. Just blind. Walked over here. Just walks straight back into the old tiles. 20. Okay, so it did find 20 consecutive patches to run. Oh, it goes down. But where does it come up? Well, so the path is shown in the debug mode, for which I have to start an actual playthrough or start the game from the editor. And I can't switch layers in this mode because I haven't implemented this. And I'm not sure what it would take to do so. So I'm just losing the path right here. It goes underground, but I have no idea where it comes back up. So this one might be a clue, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it is. It comes up here. It goes on here. I found it. Saved 5 hours of programming the underground into the debug mode. Okay, it dies right here, I guess. It says it goes along here, but then there's no exit. Okay, so what happened the previous times is that when I set the length of the algorithm, the path length, the maximum path length higher than 30, I guess, 30 or 50, and then it's soft locked. So let's try that again. Set it to 50. And it worked. Would you mind sharing your tmux config? Not at all. 1 second. I'll just follow this path real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where does it go? 7, 8. Okay, we have not gone underground. Oh, we do go underground. Maybe I'll just add a shortcut key to jump to the next exit. Where does it lead? Maybe here? No. Maybe here? Here. Yes, it leads here. It goes up here. And where does it go? It goes up here. And hello? Not sure what it does. Oh, it goes over here. and then stumped again here, here, here. It goes underground and emerges here, goes over here. So this is actually pretty cool already. I mean, it's really meandering without any sense of direction, which is not ideal. It can be fixed, I guess. And this actually works really well. Wow. Okay. So under the tmux config, it's happening. It's this one. So I set the status. Status is basically this bar at the top. I set it to be at the top. Default is at the bottom. I say that it should update one every second. And then I have status style, status right style, status right length. And then I have for this status right, this over here, it just executes a cat every second that I wrote to a file that I wrote, which is this text right here, which I should actually update maybe. Well, still relevant. Window style, I think this is the important one. And then I turned off the borders and border indicators. Yeah. The NVI config was 3 lines only. Yeah, that the NVI config was it EX and EX? Let's see, yeah. Set auto indent, set ruler, set file C to \tab. Yeah. Yeah, sure. And what I also have is mine is already pretty similar. Okay, great. What I also have is the xmod map, which turns my caps lock key into a control key. But I wouldn't copy this. This is sometimes X just gets confused or for whatever reason, and it switches these keys back to what they were, and then you're super confused. So this is yeah. But I've worked for this for quite some time, especially because VI uses the control key so heavily. It's just much more comfortable at the caps lock position. But this is yeah, just what I'm used to. So I'm not. I wouldn't recommend this. Yeah, just for trying out maybe. I'm also not sure if this code is sensical. Yeah. Okay. Where am I? Okay, 50 works. Maybe 100 works too. That would be crazy. Okay. Didn't soft lock. It says it has 100. Then that would be I'm not sure if 100 patches is enough for a playthrough. But I could make a rough calculation. So let's take an average sized patch. For example, this one. So I walk in here, I see some monsters, I fight the monsters, I gather up some ingredients, forage a bit. I test if this rock maybe moves. I check my inventory, do some other things. I fight some more monsters here. And then I heal up. And then I continue. So that's maybe 30 seconds. Let's say they're not in a rush. It's actually 40 seconds, like I measured. So that maybe give it 50% overhead for managing your character. So that's 1 minute, about 1 minute. So 100 patches are 100 minutes, which is 1.5 hours, which is not that much. But I'm pretty sure I can do 200 or 300, which would make it 300 minutes, which is 5 hours, I guess. Okay, let's count the dungeons also into the 50% overhead. So it should be I mean, that's actually to fill 5 hours of content. You have to have some overarching narratives or, well, just situations. And I don't think that the game as is, even with all these features I thought up, can deliver 5 hours. Not even thinking of repeated runs, delivering 5 hours every day, for example. But maybe, well, I'll have to test it out, but this is a good ballpark number, so not sure. 5 hours per run. For an average player. This actually may be pretty long. But I think NetHack, in NetHack you can play for like for hundreds of hours in one run. Or no? Not sure. At least I think I saw a playthrough of NetHack that went on for 16 hours. So to reach 5 hours with this very crude calculation, I'll need 300 patches. I mean, you could say that fighting takes a lot more time than I just gave it. But then again, people could just be running all the time. Just jumping through the world. I mean, I could test it by walking through 100 patches. But I think that's too boring even for me. Okay, I'll take a quick break for 3 minutes or something like that. But maybe 2 to 3 hours is enough. Maybe I should shoot for that at first. So that means 150 patches or something like that. There's always the question, where do I note that down so that I'll see it again? And the answer is I'll write it down and then I'll forget it. But it'll come up again. And maybe I'll remember. Shoot for 2 to 3 hours of content, meaning roughly 150 path length. Okay. So next is more of the same. Which is, I did split up the third chunk. This one, no, this is the second one. Third one, right here. And I can, what I have to do is connect all the patches. This one is just rocks. This one, that looks good. Just more paths for the algorithm to throw away. Okay, that's too steep, but this one needs connections, and up here. This is a dead end, maybe. Well, this works. Okay, I'll have to stay in my lane. Let's move this marker. Of course, I'm here on water, but I need rocks. And this could lead up here, but I think I'll have to extend this. Maybe cut this off even. Yeah, that's more sensical. Okay. Where was I? Here, okay. Well, I hate these 3x3 middle parts because they're just dead. So won't put a stair right there, but here is fine. I mean, it's better. It's also bad, but it's a bit better. Do I want to go down here? Doesn't look like it. And I'm here. Or maybe at this one. There needs to be entrance to this castle or whatever it is. More like well, this should be wood actually. All wooden. If I stick with the Iron Age setting. Okay, there can be a path here, down here. And I have all these holes here. Which I thought looked cool. But the jury still out on that. This is all dead here. But yeah, well, let's just leave it. Move down here. Move down. Well, no, that's not working. But this works. This works. And this works, but there's nothing connected to this patch. So maybe here and here. This looks okay. Down here, down here. Here. Looks good. This does not. Oh, it's better. Okay, way down here. Down here, up here. Well, actually, let's make it over here. Yeah. I mean, some of these are not that great, but again, this is in such an early state that I can't really worry about such particular kind of things, at least right now. Okay, I'm not going down here, but I do want to connect here. Maybe, well, this is good enough. Okay. Then I have this path that goes up again for some reason. Oh, this is actually almost out of bounds. So let's go down again. And over here. Okay. I think this is dead. Just a barrier. This is not. Also just rocks here. Oh, these gaps are really hard to see. That might be a small problem. Okay, I have nothing going up here, but that would be nice. So let's put one here. Even here. I can also go up here, which is new, but kind of cool. Okay, this is just a drop. And there's stuff here. Oh, that's bad. Let's put it over here. There should be a way down here. Yeah, 3 is enough. And I could leave this inaccessible. Then I have to go over here. another gap. Why not? Oh, this looks nice. And let's move this up. It's pretty empty here. Do I want to go over this hill? No, I'll just use this. And this right here. And this is a bit ugly, but I can just, well, can I? Of course not. We can do this. And well, this is a dead end. This is 2. So maybe make a bridge here. Yeah. More like this. Okay. This one has four exits, so that's fine. This should also connect. And this one, this one, this one. What is happening here? Okay, I've been here. This is a large drop, so nothing here, but there. Okay, this is the end of the chunk. Maybe put this right here. Okay, so we have access here. Okay, this looks actually quite good. At least that's plenty enough for the algorithm. Yeah. And that was like 15 minutes, which is pretty good. So this chunk is connected, and now into the underground. I'll also have to fix this placement of entities when I press the save button. Actually, I know how to fix it. How do you manage the amount of work you have to do without getting distracted by superfluous things? Any tips? Your lives actually inspire me to procrastinate less. That's a really good question. And I struggle with that all the time. And all you can do is course correct. Is to ask yourself if what you're doing right now is the best thing for making progress in what you want to do. That's the only way I know how to get out of that. You have to as soon as you have an idea of what to do, which may be very exciting, you either, what I do is I write it all down so that it's out of my system, and I check if this may be more productive than what I'm doing right now. If it is, which is very seldom the case, then I might switch to it as my task, as my primary task. But more often, I just write it all down. I take an hour or two. I write it all out on paper, what my ideas are, what this all would entail, and then I can just leave it there and return back to the task that I set to myself is actually the most productive thing to do. So it's a course correction all the time. We have these great ideas about, and you can also be very persuasive as to why these things are what you should be doing right now, but I've learned that just writing it out on paper, giving yourself time to think the idea through, and then you will come to the conclusion that it's better than what you're doing, or that it's not better or more productive. And it makes it, at least for me, it makes it so that I don't have any regrets or any any second thoughts as to what I'm doing right now. I have these ideas all the time, but I mean, maybe you need to have a goal in mind, some kind of concrete goal, and that helps too in measuring how important things are compared to others. But yeah, it's a constant struggle. And what I mentioned earlier is, I'm not sure if you've heard it, but what I learned from painting in oil is that there are often stretches while you're painting that your picture looks absolutely horrible. It looks really bad. And for long stretches of time, it looks really, really bad. But that says nothing about how the picture will turn out in the end. So that's also something valuable I learned. So especially if you look at this Overworld, which is, I know how it can look because I've played around with it so much. But this looks just horrible. And I know that it will look like this for quite a long time. So you just trust the process. Yeah. Solid advice, actually. There's not much to it, I think. There's not much to it, I think. To what exactly? Not quite sure I follow. But yeah, that's my 5 cents, 2 cents. And it also helps to limit yourself, like I do with tile-based minimal graphics. That, well, actually what I did is some calculations a long time ago of how much time it would take to make something more elaborate. And if you write it down and just make napkin calculations, and then it turns out that you would actually need 20 years to finish something like that, then you realize that you have to rein in your ambition. Which is not to say that everybody should make this type of game. It's just that being realistic is helpful. There's not much to it, I think. They're about doing the work. Essentially, in the end, the best path is to do the work and not think much about it. There's not too much. Not think too much about it. I mean, I think about it all the time. But the course correction is valid. Yeah, I mean, what you mean is, I think, is second guessing. Yeah, you should second guess yourself, but in productive ways. Like, is this the best thing I could do right now? for the project or for the game. But you should, I mean, you should be critical of yourself in what you're doing, but not overly so. So I think what I mean is you should be critical of your time, but not necessarily of your creativity. Stairs up. Okay, this is also in a house. It's actually not bad, this location, but it's in, oh no, it's not a dead end. Maybe here? Not sure. This was fine actually. Stairs up, stairs down. What I'm doing? What am I doing? Here maybe, here maybe. I can just paint this in. Okay, let's make this linear, which is maybe like this, and then okay. Didn't see those two paths. But I mean, okay, this should be open. I think that's fine. Okay, next one. Let's look here. That's on the mountain. Okay. Give me an exit, please. Good enough. Okay, so then Okay. Yeah. Maybe here. That works. Sorry for the flashbang. Stairs up. There are really quite a few stairs in interiors. Don't remember doing that. Oh, this is a nice place. Maybe this one. That's better. Okay, then this one walks. It's pretty linear already. Up here. And then to a dead end for some reason. Okay, that was quite easy. Just place this exit and that's it. Oh, okay, now I see. This is linked. Let's make it unlinked. Just a chasm. Please give me an exit. Nope, not cooperating. Okay. Did this one. I should probably do this one. Okay. These larger dungeons are getting more crude because I got bored with how much time they took to make, which is fine. This is a dead end. Oh, actually, if I hook this up, it won't be a dead end anymore because the path can just tunnel through the underground. Okay, and then somewhere here. Here would be nice, maybe. And now for making it linear again. Walking down here through all this, and then it has to go up here again. This is blocked off. And maybe something like this. It's pretty ugly. That's better. Okay. That should work. M2. Okay, so I know I've started late, but I also have to end early because I still have stuff to do. So I'll call it for today. But I'll be back tomorrow with a normal length stream at the normal time. Yeah, because yeah, I'll have more time tomorrow. Okay, but I did half the dungeon things. Continue at dungeon M2. Okay, so I have to get off. But thank you very much for stopping by and for watching. I do upload these the VODs, the Twitch VODs to YouTube, which should be linked somewhere on the Twitch page. So if you ever miss one or want to re-listen for a section, they are there. Okay, so I wish you a good night and thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.